Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It's new comic book day for the week of March 1st, and we're going to get started right now. This episode brought to you by shirts. It's a new shirt.
I like shirts.
I like the new shirt. Design will be linked down below. Grab it.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Capes and Scowls, the comic book store. Paul and Tim do a thing, and Team Ashen. Let's get into these trades. We have a decent amount this week. I've got Batman the Imposter, which has been out for a minute in hardcover. We've got Action Comics War World Revolution. This covers issues 1043 to 1046 and a couple bonus issues as well. It's a cool look for Superman. It's like a super-powered John Carter. We got Alice Ever After by Dan Panosian. That guy rules. He draws really well, too. We got Eternals. This is a history written in blood. This is some What If material, as well as a bunch of Eternals one-shots. We have Do a Power Bomb, which of course I love, because you gotta do a power bomb. Really New Japan feel in that book. We got Shazam Thundercrack. This is a kids level reader, and looks pretty fun. It's got fun art in it. We've got Defenders Beyond. I did not read this. Paul, did you read Beyond? I don't remember.
I don't think, no.
No, I heard good things, but I did not get around to it, so maybe I will. X-Men Volume 3. I mean, I'm not an X-Men guy, but... X-Men, the animated series. This is a pretty cool book. I feel like a lot of this hasn't been collected before. It is a mix of Adventures of the X-Men, which I think was the last run of their comics based on the cartoon. Then it features stuff from the Amazing Spider-Man magazines. So a bunch of smaller stories that ran through there. So those are the ones that you're likely not to have read. We got Aquaman the Flash Void Song. This looked really cool. I did want to read this one. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. Sounds good. And then we have The Many Deaths of Layla Starr in this big epic hardcover. This is a weird book and definitely up my alley. So if you want something a little different, you can definitely give this one a try.
First up, we have The Human Target, issue number 12. It's over. It's over. It's the end. And this is not the way the book I was expecting it to end. But you got to remember yourself, it's a Black Label book, which means it's not necessarily in continuity. And as a result, it gives its ability to give you a much fuller and, in my opinion, a little more satisfying ending. Yeah, this was still very tough to read because of the events that happened. We've been on a whirlwind here, and this has a very, very satisfying ending. I'm not going to really try to be as vague as possible because there's a lot of things that even in this book that are very spoilery, going back to an issue or two before and all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't caught up, there's a lot to cover because you can't just jump into this issue and figure out what happened. But man, it is not what I expected, but I loved every minute of it. This was such a really good read. The art has been absolutely amazing. The storytelling is top notch, and yeah, Tom King has a way of making you care about characters that just weren't really that big of a spotlight, and just really make them feel bigger than they are. And man, really good. Definitely pick this up.
What would you give the series on a scale from 1 to 10?
It's probably one of the best ones because...
That's not a number.
1 to 10? That's a 9.
Okay.
It's a 9. Because, again, it doesn't have to adhere to a thing. It doesn't have to continue the story on. We don't have to worry about what it's going to do with the larger DC universe because the story can just end. And that's the end of that book. Whereas everything else kind of has to have an ending that fits within the continuity of the current DC universe and all that kind of stuff, and these books don't. So definitely grab it.
All right, first up from me, we have Phantom Road #1 from Image Comics. This is by Jeff Lemire, Gabriel H. Walta, and Jordi Belair. This is a super, super cool story, and it definitely, I felt like it moved too fast. I wanted so much more, and I'm excited to get it in the coming issues. Basically, we have a guy who's kind of, you learn a lot about him and his past and just kind of who he is through some flashbacks, and he's a trucker, and we're just trying to figure out his day-to-day, and the world seems weird. There's something off about the world. And during a traffic accident. He ends up touching something in the middle of the road when he gets out of his vehicle to help the person who he thinks he sideswiped. And when he touches this thing, he's kind of teleported maybe to some phantom road maybe. And him and the girl in question are dealing with weird, creepy dudes that are not quite human. So this is a super awesome story, and I just wanted more. I just wish it went on forever, but we'll get there eventually. I like Lemire. He always does creepy stuff really well. So,
And my pick of the week, it is Buffy, the Last Vampire Slayer special. This picks up after the mini that just finished, Buffy, the Last Vampire Slayer. Buffy's not the Slayer anymore, but everything's been changed in the world. She is now the head of the Watcher Council. I mean, Spike is alive. A lot of these things had happened in the last series, or at least were hinted in the last series. And Thessaly is the new Slayer, and she is learning to handle her powers and her witch powers and everything, being the daughter of Tara and Willow. And we come to find one of the mysteries of what is going on here, and we go off to America to find a new big bad, and the new big bad is not what we expect. But this is a fun story. This is a fun, like, one-off story that you weren't expecting twists in, and had a satisfying ending. I like one-shots like this, where like, hey, comic book can just give you one issue and be the complete story. And that's what this is. So if you really like the Last Vampire Slayer series, definitely pick this up. It's more of the same. It's a pretty dense read, surprisingly. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So definitely grab this.
all right, and it's time for my pick of the week. Paul, what's my pick of the week?
I don't know.
All right, then, it is.
I remember you showed it to me.
I did.
I can't remember what it is.
Well, it's I Hate This Place, issue number 6.
Oh, okay.
Because I love Kyle Starks, and I was very excited for this book to come back. I guess skip ahead if you didn't read it yet and you're planning on reading it, get the trade and get caught up instantly. But this story is so good. I was excited to see where it was going to go when it came back. And boy, did it go in a pretty interesting place. So if you're unfamiliar, the house that they own, they're kind of stuck on this land, and there are monsters and other creatures that will come out at night once the sun goes down. So we have a lot of issues with some of the people who work there. We also have issues with people from Gertrude's past, who really a lot of the issue is talking about them, and you get a little backstory on Gertrude herself, which is great. But we end up with a very interesting scenario by the end of the issue, and I was super pumped. And there's a lot going on here. I don't want to spoil it, but there is awesome stuff happening here. And going forward, this book is probably going to just get better and better. So if you're not on board, you're doing it wrong. Go pick up the trade, go hunt down the issues, whatever you got to do, and then come get this guy. You're going to love it. Book is sweet. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for hanging around with me and Paul. We do appreciate it. There is a new Campfire Ashes if you head over to the podcast this week. And also, Paul, you may have noticed, had a new shirt on. That shirt is for sale if you want to support this YouTube channel. You can certainly go do that. I like it. I like that shirt a bunch. Good work, Paul.
It's a good shirt. It's
a good shirt. You know, when it's a good shirt, it's a good shirt. So, that's about it. So, just head on back here for more stuff later in the week. And I guess that's it. Paul loves you.
I do.
See that? Isn't that nice? Bye.